Welcome 2018 with the spirit of unity and wisdom in choices. Good evening, I'm Jessica Lee and you're watching News on 2. Now, 2018 couldn't come any faster for many Malaysians as they await the announcement of the 14th general elections, where they will be able to decide the government they want. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak is confident that the people will be wise in making their decision, as it will determine the future of the country and its people. Datuk Seri Najib said that the current government is the one that has always stood by its people through its policies and visions in developing the country, compared to the alternative choice, which does not promise much to the people. Datuk Seri Najib, in his 2018 New Year speech, said that Malaysia has many reasons to be optimistic as it progresses into 2018 through its next long-term development program, the National Transformation 2050 or TN50. From the vision of becoming a developed nation in 2020, he said Malaysia should strive to be amongst the top countries in the world in economic development, citizen well-being and innovation. According to the Premier, some still face challenges and hardship, but the steps the government had taken and continue to take will ensure that the country's growth is sustainable and inclusive, spreading to and lifting up all segments of society. In wishing all Malaysians a very happy, prosperous and safe New Year, Datuk Seri Najib invites all Malaysians to welcome 2018 with joy and a spirit of unity in our hearts. Meanwhile, Communications and Multimedia Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Saleh Said Karak has called on Malaysians to showcase the pride of being Malaysian as embedded in the concept of Negaraku. He said patriotism is about being proud of one's country and uniting as one under one Malaysia, bridging the ethnic and religious divide. In a post today on his blog, sskarak.blogspot.my, Datuk Seri Dr. Saleh said 2018 marks a year whereby it is more than 60 years since Malaysia gained its independence, after the new nation that was born on 31st of August 1957 was founded on the spirit of moderation, understanding and tolerance. The minister added that this diversity was enhanced with the creation of Malaysia on the 16th of September 1963, when the country's multi-ethnicity became richer with the inclusion of Sabah and Sarawak into the Federation. He also called on Malaysians to tell those who wish to jeopardize the country's future that they want peace and not chaos in 2018. He said that even though the peace and tranquility of the nation were interrupted from time to time, the worst being in 1969, Malaysia remained as the choice for foreign investors due to the country's stable political environment. Kelantan police arrested a local man who was planning to blow up the Malaysian Border Security Agency or AXEM guard post and the Rantau Panjang Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security or the ICQS complex. Police Chief Dato' Hasanuddin Hassan said the suspect, aged 30, was arrested at a roadblock by AXEM officers from Cabang Empat Salam, Rantau Panjang at 11:30 p.m. Dato' Hasanuddin Hassan explained that the suspect was riding a motorcycle in an aggressive and suspicious manner and struggled when arrested. Upon inspection, police found that the suspect was carrying items believed to be for the purpose of producing a bomb, which included a copper wire and a plastic containing yellow powder.
Satu bilah gunting, satu bilah pisau, 4 biji bateri AA, satu set screwdriver yang kecil, satu telefon bimbit, satu lilitan wire tembaga, satu kabel USB, satu pengecas telefon dan satu pasport atas nama suspek.
Speaking at the handing over ceremony of the new Tumpat Police Chief Superintendent Abdul Rashid Daud, replacing Superintendent Muhammad Zul Mazi Cik Daud, Dato' Hasanuddin said the suspect tested positive for drug, methamphetamine and has previous criminal records. The case is being investigated under Section 506 of the Penal Code and Section 7, Subsection 1 under the Corrosive and Explosive Substances and Offensive Weapons Act 1958. The Kedah State Zakat Board, or LZNK, has announced an allocation of 38.7 million ringgit for education development programs for the underprivileged in the state in 2018. Its Chief Executive Officer, Sheikh Zakaria Othman, said the allocation covers various aspects of education, including educational expenses and scholarships.
Jadi 38.7 juta 2016 ini bagi saya suatu angka yang besar, dan tumpuan kita ialah kepada bagaimana nak membangunkan pendidikan keluarga asnaf dengan harapan satu hari nanti mereka yang berpendidikan dapat membantu mempercepatkan proses mengeluarkan kelompok keluarga daripada kelompok asnaf pada masa yang akan datang melalui pendidikan.
Sheikh Zakaria said this to reporters after the registration of new MOHAMED ad-Dini Sultan Abdul Halim students at College University Insania or Queen in Alustar today. A total of 62 Form 1 students will start their 2018 school session at Queen in Mergong prior to the completion of the construction of MOHAMED Sultan Abdul Halim buildings and facilities. Lepa State Assemblyman Datuk Mohamed Suhaimi Juso, 55, died at 3:30 a.m. today at his home in Sungai Isap, Damai, Kuantan. The late Datuk Mohamed Suhaimi, who suffered from diabetes, was said to have been having fever for the past few days. Now, it was informed that Datuk Mohamed Suhaimi had fallen in the bathroom of his house and died while on the way to the Tengku Ampuan Afzan Hospital for treatment. Datuk Mohamed Suhaimi, who was Lepar State Assemblyman since 2008, left behind his wife, Datin Rohaizan Yatim, and 6 children. Two men wanted by police were detained in an operation codenamed Ops Rentap Khas at Padang Kota Lama, Georgetown, Pulau Pinang last night. The operation, which began at 11 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m., was held to prevent snatch theft and street bullying ahead of the New Year celebration. Timor Laut Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Anwar Omar said the two men were arrested for drug-related cases in Georgetown since 2001 and fraud cases in Teluk Intan, Perak last year. During the operation, 119 motorcyclists were checked, 97 motorcycles rounded up and 14 motorcycles seized. 74 summonses, meanwhile, were issued for various offences such as modification of motorcycles, non-possession of motorcycle registration number, driving licence and expired road tax. Those arrested were taken to the North East District Police Headquarters for further action. A man died on the spot when the motorcycle he was riding in crashed into a road divider along kilometre 45 of Jalan Kuching, Serian. According to State Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Deputy Chief DSP Bin Kok John, the victim was identified as 21-year-old Stanislaus Henry. Now, according to DSP Bin Kok John, the victim reportedly lost control of his motorcycle during the 5 a.m. incident while he was travelling on his way to Serian. The impact resulted in the victim suffering serious injuries on his head and legs. Paramedics who rushed to the scene upon receiving a distress call pronounced him dead at the scene. DSP Bin Kok John said the case is being investigated under Section 41, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act, 1987. Now, a man in his 20s is feared to have drowned when the car he was in, together with 6 of his friends, was swept away by heavy current while driving on a flooded road in Kampung Sungai Bintasan Darat, Kota Marudu, Sabah, early this morning. The victim was identified as Muhammad Ashraf Nurajim. The victim's 6 friends survived and have been identified as Sharif Ibrahim Sharif Saad, Sulaiman Hussein, Muhammad Shazril Samad, Muhammad Saleh Hussein, Abdul Halim Hussein, and Abdul Aminur Rashidillah Abdul Rahman. All 6 managed to escape when one of them managed to break the car's window. The State Fire and Rescue Department Operations Centre in a statement said a fire engine together with several firefighters were dispatched to the scene after receiving a distress call around 2:56 a.m. The team, headed by Senior Officer Jakri Baha and 5 other firefighters, discovered the car about 30 meters away from the location where it was said to have been swept away at around 4:35 a.m. Search and rescue operation for the missing victim is still ongoing. Now, accidents typically happen around old or damaged electrical equipment or wiring or overloaded circuits. Now, the latter was probably the cause of the fire which resulted in the 15 squatter houses in Lorong Haji Musa, Kampung Baru, Kuala Lumpur, which was razed to the ground on Friday. Kuala Lumpur Fire and Rescue Department Director Kiruddin Rahman advised homeowners not to tamper with any electrical wiring as it may cause accidents, especially fire, due to loose connections, cracked or frayed sockets or loose and bare wires. He said the Kampung Baru fire was believed to have been caused by the sharing of electrical wiring between the rented houses in the area. He added investigation found that the electricity consumption had exceeded the amount allowed. The 9 a.m. incident on Friday left many of the victims, most of them Indonesians, with only their clothes on their backs. Now, all the victims are being temporarily accommodated at units of the People's Housing Programme. Now, a 64-year-old man, his younger sister and his nephew, who is disabled, managed to save themselves when the house they were in was burned to the ground in a fire today. Now, the fire also destroyed another house and a nasi lemak stall. Jafar Abu Bakar only managed to save a motorcycle while other important documents were destroyed in the 10:25 a.m. incident at Batu Dua, Jalan Kuala Kedah, Alostar. Jafar, who sustained injuries to his right hand while trying to save himself and the others, was treated by the Fire and Rescue Department Emergency Medical Retrieval Service team. The fire was said to have started from the top of the two-storey wooden house before it spread to other parts of the house. Meanwhile, Jalan Raja Fire and Rescue Department Commander in charge of operations, Muhammad Firdaus Isa, said the houses were 90% destroyed, while the nasi lemak stall was 10% destroyed.
Berkaitan dengan punca kebakaran, kita tidak dapat declare dekat sini sebab siasatan masih dijalankan oleh penguasa bomba Muhammad Syam bin Kamruddin, yang mana maklumat dan punca sebenar kita akan dapat tahu selepas inilah.
Now, Bank Pertanian Malaysia Berhad, or Agrobank, has disbursed loans to the tune of 9.5 billion ringgit, a growth of 8.4% as of November 2017. Now, in a statement, Acting President and Chief Executive Officer Masaad Awaz said the improvement was in line with market growth and demand for agricultural and agro-based production. Masaad said Agrobank also maintains its financing lead for the agro-food sector in recording growth of 12.9% with an overall value of 3.5 billion ringgit compared to 3.1 billion ringgit last year. She added that this encouraging increase matches Agrobank's commitment to always be proactive in providing financial services that are compatible with the needs of customers, especially the agro community, a majority of whom are food-based. Masaad said Agrobank is also confident that prospects in the agricultural sector in 2018 would remain. Welcome 2018 with the spirit of unity and wisdom in choices. Good evening, I'm Jessica Lee and you're watching News on 2. Now, 2018 couldn't come any faster for many Malaysians as they await the announcement of the 14th general elections, where they will be able to decide the government they want. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak is confident that the people will be wise in making their decision as it will determine the future of the country and its people. Datuk Seri Najib said that the current government is the one that has always stood by its people through its policies and visions in developing the country compared to the alternative choice, which does not promise much to the people. Datuk Seri Najib in his 2018 New